Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Wake and Bake podcast. Wake and Bake football podcast. I'm Quentin. I'm a Charger fan. That's Pete. He's a Patriots fan. We talk football in the morning. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you like what you hear or you like watching us, don't forget to like and subscribe. I always forget that line, so I'm glad I got that in there this time. We are baking it up. Matter of fact, I got to pull these rolls right now.
Late, they're done.
So we're on the eve of training camp here.
There we are.
I read an article. Oh my God, look at these. Woo! Them's. Well, this puppy's popped. So I read an article. Did you read that article in the Athletic about Patriots training camp depth chart?
No,
No?
I did not.
What kind of fan are you, Pete? Why am I reading articles about the Patriots depth chart?
Because you want to be a champion?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing of note here is, what are my takeaways from it? They were talking about they addressed a lot of positions in the draft. They were very successful in the draft. They got very high reviews. They were talking about it. Vrabel's like, yeah, but let's go win some games.
Right, well, he already won March, so.
What's that?
I mean, one of Vrabel's most memorable quotes from this offseason is, "We won March."
We won March, yeah. Yep. So.
And also April, because they had one of the best drafts.
Yeah. So. They're trying to win, but they want to win actual real games.
Right.
Let's do that. But the one position, well, no, you guys got that edge guy, Swinson, right?
Yes.
But he's kind of your only guy.
It's the only guy they drafted.
Well, I mean, in the article, they were just kind of talking about the edge rush might be a little bit. The primary guy that has potential that's on the team, like he was kind of injury marred last year, right?
Well, they signed Chason, Calevon Chason.
Okay.
He's an edge specialist. He hasn't played a whole ton. Like last year, he had his best season and he had like 5 sacks. He's
not like a super established,
yeah,
but there's flashes,
he's
right?
not a Judon playing every down.
No.
He comes in on 3rd down and just rushes the passer.
Yeah. And he's shown flashes of like, hey, can you just do that like every play?
Yeah, he's shown flashes of being an elite edge pass rusher.
Can you?
Which is what they need.
Can you just do that all the time, please? Like every down? So that was kind of one of the thrusts of the article. And then Polk could kind of be on the bubble on the wideouts, huh?
Yeah, I mean, at this point they have so many.
He's going to have to fight for a spot.
He's fighting for a spot, but I mean, so is everybody. So there's the argument of, are you gonna, does he get a little bit longer leash because he's a 2nd round draft pick in his 2nd year?
Yeah.
But also he wasn't drafted by Vrabel. Now he was drafted by Elliott Wolf, who is still there, and appears to be there for a while. Like especially if this draft pans out as everyone hopes that it does.
Yeah.
Then Elliott Wolf might have solidified his spot.
Post draft, that was kind of a big question here going into the draft was, boy, Elliott Wolf better have a good draft, otherwise.
Right, like Mayo got fired after one season, and everyone was like, "Why isn't Elliott Wolf on that same hot seat?
How come he didn't?
With his hand on the doorknob."
Yeah. So. Well, you don't know till the season, but if a few of those guys hit, then the Vrabel-Wolf combo will definitely will repeat again.
Right.
Let's see, Charger depth chart here.
And you got to assume that they're going to be better than the Jets. And if they're at least not worst in the division, then that's one, it's a step up.
Right.
And two, the Jets had their time to shine, had their chance to win a Super Bowl, and they won 6 games.
Yeah. Well, they thought they went out and bought the right quarterback.
Yeah.
And Aaron Glenn.
They had their defense built up and then went and got Rodgers.
Actually, the way Aaron Glenn handled the Rodgers situation, and actually, if you look at their draft, because their draft was. Let's see here.
Their draft was okay. Their offseason in general, I would say, is subpar. I think they're worse than last year.
Dude, the Jets took Membo.
They did.
Just like you guys, prudent decision. Take one of the best tackles in the draft using your high first round pick. And it wasn't, theirs was not as high as yours. They were in a perfect spot to take one of the best tackles.
Right.
So they did the right thing. They took Membo. Then in the second round, they took Mason Taylor, the tight end I wanted. So they went and got themselves a good tight end.
2 of their biggest needs.
Yeah.
However, in comparison to last year's roster,
so that's solid.
They had Morgan Moses at right tackle, who was an old, really good veteran who's now on the Patriots. So they swap him out for Membo. So long-term upside is probably higher without a doubt, but next season's upside is probably not.
So 2 offensive picks, and then they spent the rest of their picks on defense, dude.
And that's because over the last 3 years they had all these studs on defense, and they've
kind of lost.
They don't have them anymore.
This guy, that guy.
2 years ago, their defense was going to be one of the best defenses ever.
They got a cornerback. They got a DB.
It does not look the same
Moore.
anymore.
They got a linebacker. Defensive end. Not really any names that I know, but Aaron Glenn's a defensive coordinator.
Right. And so was Saleh.
I feel like somebody was saying I saw some kind of breakdown and they were talking about the Jets' offensive line. And with the addition of Membo, like, that O-line's not looking bad.
No, it was good last year. It's going to be good again this year.
Like, I guess the case that they were making was this is the best line that Fields has had.
Okay. Well, because the next thing was getting into Fields and whether he can have the resurgence that everyone wants it, you know, hoping that he has in New York anyway.
So the question is, who's going to be the worst in the division, Dolphins or Jets?
Or the Patriots. They haven't proven anything.
Patriots will not be the worst in the division.
I mean, I hope not. I don't think so.
That's just because I like Vrabel so much, and you got to like Drake May.
Right.
Yeah. That will be shocking to me. Like crazy shocking.
I mean, all of a sudden, the Patriots have the second best quarterback in the division. Whereas, you know, for the last 2 years, they had the worst. And in 5 years, hopefully, they have the best quarterback in the division.
I do feel kind of like, well, because I like the Dolphins head coach too, McDaniels.
Yeah.
I think he's really smart. I don't know. The Jets are giving me the same vibe the Raiders give me right now, which is like they're actually being run well for the first time in a long, long, long time, maybe. According to the way they ran their draft, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, are these guys actually being run well? Which in the Raiders case, I'm like, God dang it. You know?
I mean, maybe. I would say that they had been drafting defense super well the last, 6 years. That's why their defense is just constantly...
The Jets?
Yeah, constantly having new, young studs on defense. It's just that the only offensive positions that they hit on were Breece Hall and
to me, personnel-wise, one of the more interesting stories post-draft here for me is the Giants. They've got Russell Wilson, who he's going to start. Because he's the safest QB they have. They also got Jameis Winston. But here's the thing. If Wilson starts this year and they start off maybe 500, drop a game here, drop a game there.
Depending on how the schedule lines out, I think 500 for the Giants is very optimistic.
I think the coaches have to do...
Because the rest of that roster, regardless of the quarterback, is pretty terrible.
I think for Dayball, for those guys to keep their job, because their job is on the line this season, for sure. I mean, I think that goes without saying. Everybody in the league thought they could have gotten fired last year, and it's like, okay, you got one more year.
Right.
So,
Which is kind of why it's crazy that they even took Dart at all. Because you would think you got to have somebody that they can win that, like, get a few wins with.
What's that?
You would think they would have taken somebody that would help them get a few wins with the veteran quarterback just to save their job. Dart doesn't really help them do that.
Oh, you're surprised they didn't take Shador?
No, just take somebody else. Another
QB?
Another playmaker who's not a QB.
Oh, playmakers.
But then that would help them win now with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, what's it? Did the Giants trade back?
No. They were 3. They stayed at 3 and took
Abdul?
Abdul.
Yeah.
Which absolutely will help them win now. He's a stud.
Yeah, he's a game record.
But the questionable pick was the trading back in for Dart.
I mean, if you look at the Giants situation, getting Abdul, I think that defense was already pretty respectable. I think, if I'm recalling correctly, I was reading the write-up on The Athletic, like, the thoughts from the league, because they were kind of asking people in the NFL, of course, not to be named.
Right.
Executives in the NFL. What do you think of the Giants draft? And the notion was that they got Abdul Carter. That defense is going to be nasty. Like, they like to run a specific type of defense there. I think it was their dime package. And so they were just naming off the names of the people in that dime package, and they were just like, whew, jeez. Like, that's rough. So if you look at that from a wider viewpoint, say they do have, like, upgraded defense, so they're one of the better defenses in the league, say top 10.
But see, they were not even close to top 10 last year. And so I don't think they're making that jump to top 10 defense. Maybe.
Yeah, I wonder.
Maybe top half, middle of the pack. But
I mean, I agree with your statement on that, just because I feel like the top 10 defenses are something that would stick in my mind from last year's season, and I don't feel like they're on that list with me for some reason.
I mean, they were just the team in general.
I would be surprised. Like, let me Google that.
I mean, like I said, Abdul Carter makes them better, but they already had 2 good defensive ends.
That's Thibodeau, right?
Thibodeau and...
What were the top 10
Taylor?
defenses?
Forget the other guy.
In the NFL in the 2024 season. So, that's a list I don't mind looking at.
Yeah.
Defensive stats, regular season. Who's at the top of the list? My Chargers.
The Chargers.
Chargers. Points per game. They allowed close to the least points per game. You got Eagles, Broncos, Chiefs, Vikings. Vikings. It's a little surprising. Packers. The Lions. Wow, that's kind of crazy. So, on a points allowed basis, the Chargers allowed only 301 points. They allowed the least amount of points in the league. That list is actually, this list is kind of surprising, dude. It's Chargers with 301, Eagles with 303, Broncos with 311. Chiefs with 326. Well, no, wait. Yeah, Broncos 311, Chiefs 326, Vikings 332, Packers 338, Lions at number 7, 342, the Steelers number 8 with 347, the Ravens at number 9 with 361, and then the Dolphins were number 10 at 364. Then you got the Bills.
But that's still like 2.5 points a game between the first team and the 10th team, which is a lot.
Yeah, it's not many points.
No, I'm saying it's like almost 3 points a game. And that's just in between 1 and 10, not even 1 and 30.
Yeah. Yeah. Giants were number 21 at 415.
So bottom third.
Bottom half of the league, yeah. Not far.
All right, so they could jump up 10 spots and then be in the top 10 or 12.
Yeah. That seems doable.
That's possible, whether or not
If Abdul does that for them.
It's not that I thought they were down at like 25, 26.
Patriots were 2 points behind the Giants at 417. 417 points allowed.
I mean, I'm hoping the Patriots have a 10 spot jump.
I think the Patriots can jump 10. Absolutely.
I think they will too. They made a lot of. They had a really aging.
The fucking Chargers jumped like 25.
Yeah.
They went from bottom 5 to top 5. Which was like my dream last year going into the year, by the way. I was like, dude, if they can. Actually, my dream was for them to jump in the top 10, not to end up having a top 5.
I mean, the Patriots, they need to go up in defense. They got to go up 8 to 10 spots. And then they're also just Drake May's maturation and the offensive line, which is head and shoulders above last year. Their offense, which was last in a lot of categories, especially the offensive line block win rates, were 31st or 32nd in pretty much every offensive line category. It should make them middle of the pack. They should jump like 15 spots on offense for most of those grades, and that should make them a competitive, watchable team.
I think you get a huge bump with McDaniels.
Yep.
You got a tackle, but he is a rookie. So I think you got to give him. Most rookies, I mean, even Joe Alt took about 5 to 6 games to get up to NFL speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they were waiting all season to get up to NFL speed last year at the left tackle position.
What's that?
I said they were waiting all season last year to get up to NFL speed at the left tackle position.
Yeah.
So, and the right tackle position for
here's
that
the
matter,
thing.
which also got better.
I do think you get a strong bump from McDaniels. You got a QB improved left tackle situation. There's improved personnel. Granted, it's a new coaching regime, but I also think Vrabel, because he's a veteran coach, like if anybody can get his system up and running faster than some rookie head coach, it's that guy. I mean, it's like Harbaugh. Like these guys know what they're doing, you know? They know how to run a program. There's a lot to be said about an experienced head coach versus a guy head coaching for the first time.
Right.
So even then, though, you're looking at like 6 months. So the Patriots go 500. If they can start their season 500, and then I think, you know, near the end of the season, they're going to start to get dangerous, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if they can finish the season 500, that would be a
they'll do way better than that. They'll do better than 500. They're going to be that team like on the door of the wild card. And the team that like teams trying to get into the playoffs are going like, damn it, I don't want to play that team. Like we don't know much about that team because there's only one season's worth of film. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's coached by Vrabel, so Vrabel's going to have a good game plan. Like, there's good coaches over there.
Well, I mean, yeah, they only have one. You're going to have one season of film on Drake May. But the offense that they're running is totally different because it's McDaniel's offense.
Yeah, it's going to be a new offense. So there's no film on that.
So even that.
On the one hand, you got a little film on Drake, so the sophomore slump, you know, getting to know QB, but
that's what I'm saying. You have film on Drake, but you have film in a different offense. So
yeah, exactly.
That film on Drake is not as helpful as it normally is.
It's not as potent, less dependable.
Yeah.
But getting back to like the Giants, like my big thing is like if Russell Wilson either shits the bed to start the season, or if he is at 500 by half season, I mean, I could see them go Jameis Winston, go high risk.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing I want to see is Jameis Winston just tossing it up to Neighbors.
Yeah.
Like that, I really want to see that. You know what I mean? As a football fan, because I mean, he's going to be throwing up balls you should not be throwing, because that's what Winston does.
Right.
He throws balls up there deep that you should not be throwing. High risk balls. But Neighbors is the kind of receiver you could land pay dirt on that. Like he can make it pay off.
So was Mike Evans, and that only worked out some of the time.
Yeah, it's like Mike Evans, you know, like
so.
Sometimes you got the Randy Moss.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's exactly what Brady did with Moss that
Winston
year.
played with Evans.
I mean,
Tampa for.
That's exactly what Tom Brady did with Randy Moss when he had him. Tom usually is like super. I mean, he said that in his interviews. Like, he's usually extremely low risk. I'm trying to hit the guys that are low risk.
Yeah.
But in Moss's case, like, nah.
I mean, he was low risk just because he was always open.
He's up. Well, the contested catch thing. He had so much faith in Moss's contested catch ability that, if Moss doesn't come down with that ball, a DB is not coming down with that ball. Because Moss is going to contest that catch enough that the DB is not going to get a good kick. You know what I mean? Like, no way there's a DB that's going to get position on Moss.
Right. Who's going to jump higher.
Exactly. Like, Moss may not catch the ball, but the DB's not going to. Which some wideouts, if you throw them up a high-risk ball, like, they don't attack the ball.
Yeah.
And then the DB gets the ball. And you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. You got to high point that ball.
I mean, as a Charger fan, Vincent Jackson, I feel, used to do that. And it would piss me off really bad. Because you're hanging your QB out to dry, dude. Like, get after that damn ball. One of the kids that the Chargers drafted, I think he was the 5th round, like the second wideout we drafted. They call him Big Play Dre. And he's not like a big dude, but he's really fast. He was one of these guys, some experts had him really high ranked. Like in their top 10.
What?
And then some guys he was like non-existent. So but you watch his film, one of his best highlights is, I think the Chargers themselves actually posted this highlight. I mean, and not to go too far down a side tangent here, the number one attribute that the Chargers drafted that they drafted was contested catch ability. Like, if you're not a contested catch kind of monster, they did not draft you. Trey Harris has great contested catch. The tight end that they got is fantastic. He's like the number 2 contested catch tight end in the entire draft in the FBS. So that's literally his special sauce, was like, this guy can contested catch. He's covered, but if you throw him the ball, he gets that ball.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's what Jalen Polk's college film
was supposed to be.
so I hope it works out for you.
Yeah. Trouble is, when he gets a clean ball, he doesn't quite catch it.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Smith guy, he has Big Play Dre. He gets a horrible ball thrown to him. The DB has position on it. And he like jumps over the DB and like snags the ball. It was a hell of a very, 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 very impressive. But that was one of the things on his, you know, in his assessment, like when you read it, like he fights for the ball. Like if it's anywhere in the vicinity, like he is fighting for that ball.
Nice.
Because, I mean, I guess the QB at Auburn was pretty horrible. And I mean, that was this guy's situation. For all intents and purposes, he moved to Auburn his last season. He was at Penn, did really well at Penn, got a lot of touches, was kind of their monster receiver, and then he went to Auburn. He made a bad move.
Yeah.
I think he did that because he didn't want to share as many touches with like Warren. There was too many other good players maybe on the team, and he was like, I want to increase my value, so I'm going to go to Auburn, which usually has a pretty good program.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the guy there. They're just going to use me every play. I'm going to have a monster stat season. Well, it turns out that QB was kind of crappy. And then Auburn didn't really have a very, very great year. So it lowered his stock instead of raising it, you know?
That's all it takes.
This guy really seems to think of himself. I want to say he kind of has this like Malik Neighbors kind of swagger to him or something. Like he wants to be, believes he's really good and wants to be really, really, really good. And I don't think not in a, he knows that he didn't go number 1 in the draft. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he knows why. But he's trying to maximize his value.
He's a humble diva. It's a new term.
I don't know that, you know, like I'm not a fan of Neighbors as far as I you know me, I typically do not like the wideouts that like to toot their horn and you know
they're almost all a little diva-y.
Yeah. I mean, you've got one now, Diggs.
Right.
I'm not a fan of that. But Diggs had some humble pie.
He did. He ate some humble pie.
He ate some humble pie, and he knows he's got a.
He also was one of the best, maybe the best receiver in the league for a couple years. So,
I mean, he stacked up a couple solid seasons there. You know, as one of the top threats in the league.
You get to be a little diva-y at that point.
Yeah, you get to have a little diva. So, but I feel like this guy's got that dog in him where he's like. He knows he's not that. He hasn't reached that, you know, but he's like, I'm going to reach that. Like, I'm going to get that. Yeah. Just give me a chance. Matter of fact, that's what he said on the phone with the coaches when they called.
Ooh.
Like, I'm going to show you what kind of receiver I am. Harbaugh went right back to him like, we're going to show you what kind of organization we are. I like that. You know?
Nice.
Like, bring it, dude. Let's go. So... another big thing, depth chart wise for the Chargers, because we talked about the Patriots depth chart. We've been going into other teams here, depth charts, interesting things to watch going into the season here. Not going to talk about the tackle, the UDFA Chargers tackle that is going to change the entire league. I mean, if that works out, like other teams mid-season are be going like, okay, how do we get our hands on a? It can kind of change the game if it works out. It really can. Like, because then teams start going after like former basketball centers.
Like bring in Zdeno Chara out of retirement.
Well, we've never seen a player like this where this guy is not a tight end. They're not even going to use him. I mean, they're going to use him like a tight end, but they're not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because this, like I said, he's not going to run routes. He's not going to be putting moves on guys. He's going to trot out It's not a home run hit, but he's going to get you 10 to 20 yards like every time. And again, how do you stop this guy from catching a ball out there? Like that's really what's going to be interesting to me is what do the defenses come up with to stop it? Because it's a hell of a problem, dude. For all the people at home that missed that episode, we're talking about UDFA, Chargers UDFA, Jimmy Bell Jr., who is a 6'9", 330-pound college basketball center that the Chargers signed. And they designated as a tackle. And I think they're going to use him in a very interesting way. So if you want to hear about that, it's in the descriptions on a previous episode. I want to say 2 episodes back. So yes, look it up.
Something like that.
That being said, defensive line, we drafted Jamari Caldwell, who I love. I mean, he didn't make it on like any of these guys' lists that I listened to, as far as like D-line picks and stuff, top picks, but I think he's going to start. He definitely has starter potential.
I mean, you're kind of missing a starter on the defensive line, right?
Well, we lost Poona Ford.
Yeah.
Who was a free agent signing. We signed him for damn near league minimum, I want to say.
Yeah, and he had a good year, so then he got paid by the Rams.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes. We made him a good offer. The Rams bested it by a few mil. And he said, hey, I'll stay in the same city and I'll just make a few mil more. Yeah. It's okay. Plus, that's a pretty good team, too. Great. So, Chargers are happy for him. He deserves it. You know, the Chargers have admitted, like, damn, that one got away from us. And, you know?
Right.
We made him a competitive offer. And sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them. That's just the way it is. So we did need that replacement. Kind of Caldwell's the same build. Poona Ford is super small. I think he's sub 6 foot, but he's 300 pounds.
Whoa, a little bowling ball.
He's a bowling ball. He really is just a bowling ball of a human. And it's not like flabby. Like he's just like this, I feel like he was kind of small, but so big and weighty that like you can't get your hands on him to defend him kind of thing, you know? Yeah. And he would use that. Because like somebody that small shouldn't be that powerful and weigh that much kind of thing, you know?
Right. It's like Micah Parsons, obviously different position, but the reason that guy is like the best in the league at what he does is because pound for pound, he's like one of the strongest guys in the league.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't really know that about him. He's like freaky.
He's like freaky strong in the weight room.
And then Poona's got great motor. He has really good motor. He can 2-gap. He can take up a 2-block, control his gap, not get pushed around. He can hold his point of attack and then drop it. If that ball carrier or if the QB comes close to his gap, like he jumps out and he gets him. He's just got really good control of that. And he can push the pocket too. He's got really good pocket push. It's hard to find guys that can do that, you know?
Right.
And that is what Puna did, and that is exactly what Caldwell does. Like, same thing, but Caldwell's a little bigger. He's 6'2", 320. And I mean, the thing that really, really stands out on Caldwell's film is he's got these nimble feet, dude. Like, really agile, nimble feet. You're watching film on him and you're just like, this guy shouldn't move like that. Like the way he looks, it doesn't, because he looks like a nose tackle.
Right.
He's got a belly like a nose tackle. So you're just like, this is, what's going on here?
Of Vince Wilfork getting an interception and running 50 yards is one of the greatest replays of all time.
Yeah, right? So, but that being said, we got him. He fills a big hole. But the thing that I didn't see kind of come in that kind of came out this week was Jesse Minter was being interviewed. That's the defensive coordinator of the Chargers. And he was being interviewed on the weekly Chargers podcast.
Uh-huh.
And they asked him about the defensive line, and he actually brought up our 4th round pick from last year, Boygby, who, this guy didn't really get any snaps last year. It was real quiet. Like, he didn't get any snaps, but, I mean, one of the most profound changes of the way the Chargers are run this year versus previous seasons for the last 20 fucking years that I've seen, okay? One of the biggest differences is this roster, the way they churn the roster. Like, you do not have a roster spot on the Chargers. Like, between the practice squad and the active roster, like, the depth chart is constantly changing. Constantly changing. Like, where in previous years, it was pretty set unless somebody got hurt. Like, they're moving practice squatters in. Like, if you're not... Like, every roster spot is being competed for heavily. And movement is always happening. So for a Boygby to, like, hold down his roster spot the entire regular season and never, ever get replaced by somebody off the practice squad, to me, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That says a lot to me. Now, I just don't think the conditions for him to get some snaps ever showed up. Morgan Fox was healthy. Like, the whole defensive line stayed healthy all year for some reason. Except for Joey Bosa. Because that's Joey Bosa.
Yeah, he was as healthy as he ever
He is Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa was Joey Bosa. Unfortunately, the guy couldn't stay healthy.
Now he'll probably have his first full season.
For sure.
As a Buffalo Bill.
Absolutely.
And they'll go to the Super Bowl, you know?
Absolutely. That's, you know what? If you're a betting man, that's smart money right there. Joey Bosa is going to have his first healthy season in fucking 5-6 seasons and play like the beast that he is.
And get his first deep playoff run.
And get a freaking Super Bowl, dude. You watch. 1,000%.
Now the question is does he sack Mahomes to end the AFC Championship?
Oh man, that's exactly. That's exactly
He's the
it,
one
dude.
to do it.
That's
finally get Josh Allen over the Mahomes hump.
Oh man, that's exactly it. Oh, the football gods, dude. That's happening. Bet everything, bet every penny you have on that, okay?
Where's the prop bet of like a strip sack ending the game by Joey Bosa?
Yeah, that's exact. Yeah. You heard it here first, people. That's exactly what's going to happen. Buffalo's going to get their first Super Bowl with Joey Bosa leading the charge on defense.
And then he gets hurt and doesn't get to play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And then they lose.
And then they lose.
I mean, that's even worse. The Bills haven't made it to the Super Bowl. Like, that's kind of the more brutal aspect of...
Because as good as they've been with Josh Allen for the last 5 years, they haven't been able to beat Mahomes.
They just haven't been able to get to the bowl.
Right.
It's not even losing the bowls. It's just they haven't even got to it.
I mean, last year they lost to Baltimore.
Yeah.
So I mean, now they have two legit quarterbacks that they have to get through in the AFC.
Okay. Getting back to Boygby here. Minter mentioned, so Boygby held down a spot on the roster the entire season last year, which I think is impressive to do. You don't do that with this regime unless there's something there. That being said, this offseason, Minter said Boygby gained 20 pounds of muscle working with Ben Herbert. He specifically goes, Boygby, when the season ended, Boygby got with Ben Herbert. He's put on about 20 pounds. So we think he's ready.
Yeah.
He's ready for some and he was already a big dude. I mean, let me look him up. Justin Boygby. Justin Boygby Chargers. So Boygby came out of Bama. So when he was drafted, I'm pretty sure this is his draft numbers. He was 6'5", 291. So he's a thick, he's a really thick muscled dude. Played at Bama. He's a
solid dude.
The guy doesn't have fat on him. At that height and weight.
So now he put on 20 pounds.
He's thrown on another 20 pounds of muscle.
Now he's 6'5",
like 2 something. 3 something. Yeah. So he's I don't know. We'll see. He could be the surprise of the season, actually. Because I think so we let Morgan Fox go to the Panthers. I think that's kind of why we let him go. Was like, this guy's basically as good as Fox. He's not a veteran like Fox is. Boygby wasn't good enough to start over Fox because Fox has been an NFL defensive lineman for years. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to go with the more experienced, consistent guy. And Fox had a healthy season last season. So, to unseat Morgan Fox would be really hard.
Right.
You'd have to be a really, really good player to unseat Morgan Fox as a starter. Like a really good player. Fox is an elite, but he's better than average. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And he knows what you can rely on him, you know? The consistency factor is a big deal. And Fox has that. But I think that may have been one of the reasons why they didn't quite pay him this offseason. Because they were just like, yeah, Boygby's ready, you know? So we should see him get some snaps. So I think he's that kind of, let's see. Would I call him the surprise on defense of the season? Player to watch out for, you know?
Yeah.
That's actually a really good subject. Like, who's the player to watch out for? Way too early predictions of breakout player on the defense for the next season?
Yeah. Either a middle-of-the-road guy who plays like a star or a guy who's barely making a roster who ends up being a real big rotational piece.
So, for the Chargers, breakout player of the season, yeah, I think I'll pick a Boygby. We all know about Cam Hart still, all these other guys. Boygby's just a guy, I mean, to be a breakout player, like, that's the point, is we didn't see him coming, you know? Who's your guy? You got a guy before we end the episode here? Way too early defensive player breakout player of the year? Who's the unknown guy, dude? That's going to surprise everyone this year.
I don't know. I mean, hopefully it's... I would say, hopefully it's Caleb on Chason.
Who?
Chason. Hopefully, if that dude gets double-digit sacks.
You talking about the edge?
Yeah. Not the rookie.
Yeah, I didn't know who the hell that guy was.
Because he's all... Like, he was a first-round pick. Or second-round pick.
For who?
It was like 5 years ago. Because
The Patriots?
No.
Somebody else drafted him?
Yeah, Jacksonville.
The Jags?
Maybe. But then he was on... So he played his rookie contract with them and then went to...
Didn't get paid?
And then went to Vegas last year.
He went to Vegas?
Yeah, and he had his best year last year with like 5 sacks. So they're like still like waiting to ever do anything. He's still always this promising guy.
I think I remember that. There was a guy on the Raiders that showed he wasn't part of the original lineup, but he got to start, and it was like, oh, that guy's got a little feistiness in him. So you got that guy.
Right. I mean, he was playing opposite Max Crosby last year.
Yeah. Which you would think would help you. Because Max is going to get the double team.
Right.
Right? All right. You heard it here, people. Breakout players of the year. We're going to call that an episode. Thanks for tuning in. If you lasted this long. If you didn't, that's okay too. You're not listening.
Then we could say anything.
Yeah, I could say anything I want about you. Tune in next time on Wednesday. I don't know what we're going to talk about. That's not how we roll. We kind of figure it out the morning of.
Yeah.
Very rarely the day before. So, anyhow. Like and subscribe. I think I should say it at the end too, right?
Yeah.
Good protocol habits. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.